So I remember when I was running from God and I knew very clearly that He wanted me to come to Him. I had some friends in the 12-step program that I was working. I had been trying to get clean from drugs and alcohol. And I had been relapsing off and on for about a year and a half. And some friends that I had in the program had been inviting me to church for about a year and a half. In that year or so, I'd been contemplating going back to church, but I knew that it would require work. I knew that it would require surrender. I knew that it would require all these things that were hard that I didn't really want to do. But I didn't want to continue living in misery every time I chose to use drugs again. I remember the last time they asked me to come to church with them. It was about 3 days before the last time I used drugs, which was on November 20th, 2016. In that moment, they asked me to come to church, and I said yes. When I make a commitment, I tend to follow through with that commitment because those are very important things to do. When you make a commitment, you follow through with it. So I went to church with them that Sunday. While in worship, I was watching everyone worship, and I was thinking, why can't I do that? And the gentleman that was on the stage playing the saxophone, I saw him coming down towards me, and he came up to me and whispered in my ear, "God put a glowing light all around you," and I saw it. And he said to me, "Get her and bring her to the altar." So I'm here to take you to the altar to be with Jesus. And in that moment, I was like freaking out a little bit, but I went with him, and he grabbed another lady and brought her to the altar with me. She was a woman that also struggled with alcohol addiction and drug addiction in her past, but had been clean for several years. And she stood there and held me, and she prayed with me. And there were several others around me praying and speaking in tongues and praying, laying hands on me. We were up there for an hour, and it seemed like just minutes. But we were up there for an hour, and during that hour, all I remember is feeling God's arms around me, feeling the arms of Jesus wrapped around me, the fatherly arms just tenderly touching me. I felt the love of Jesus in that moment. And I didn't hear the people praying over me. I didn't hear the woman's words or her speaking in tongues. What I heard was God whispering in my ear and Jesus whispering to me, "I love you. I'm so glad you're here. You are beautiful and you are worth it to me. Come home to me, repent, and come home. I've been waiting for you." And in that moment, I repented and asked God for forgiveness for all the things that I had chosen to do in my past that did not line up with what He wanted me to do. And in that moment, I felt this weight lift off of me, and I knew the chains of alcohol and drug addiction had been broken off of me. In that very moment, I knew I was delivered from alcohol and drug addiction, and I was walking in freedom. And that is amazing. That is the most amazing feeling. I'm coming up on 8 years clean, and it's amazing to me to think that I've come this far because the last 8 years have not been easy. When you put the drugs down and you don't have anything to cover up how you feel, and you have to face your fears, and you have to face the things that come up in your life without anything to cover those up, at that moment, it's scary, it's hard. But with Jesus by your side and people that surround you and lift you up in prayer and that help you and help lead you and direct you, they help pull your arms up and pull your legs up, and they give you the strength to keep putting one foot in front of the other. With Jesus by your side, you can do anything. With Jesus by your side, all things are possible. It says in the Bible, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's what I go by today. I try to remember where I was in the beginning and remember that I didn't think I could do this, but now I'm 8 years in and I'm still doing it. One day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time. But with Jesus, I can do anything.